Hello and welcome to the Balancing Act Boston Edition. I'm Montel Williams. We're bringing you community stories and introducing you to businesses and people who are making a difference. So let's see who's making a difference right here in your neighborhood.
On this episode of The Balancing Act, an education on housing services, wheelchair donations for those in need, tips on how to elevate your style, plus lots more. Today on The Balancing Act.
What a great show we have lined up. Let's see what's first.
According to the U.S. Chamber of Commerce, nearly 1.5 million people every year are released from incarceration. Without access to stable housing and employment opportunities, many formerly incarcerated individuals face significant challenges.
How Justice for Housing started, it wasn't something that I learned or I thought about while I was incarcerated. It happened naturally. We provide a critical service, which is housing for formerly incarcerated people.
Justice for Housing is an organization that's committed to providing housing and more to people who are re-entering society after incarceration and don't know who to turn to.
The majority of the population in public housing are low-income individuals. Because of that disparity, housing authorities were being punitive. They were not allowing formerly incarcerated people to live in public housing or receive services after incarceration. This issue really targets 60% of the population in the state. 60% of the population who are incarcerated are minorities. Justice for Housing offers Section 8 vouchers and subsidy vouchers for individuals returning home from incarceration. Family unification is a big part of our work. We have been successful in reuniting families with their parents. We use that service to create generational wealth and equity. The hands-on defense model is a model we created to prevent housing authorities from discriminating against formerly incarcerated people from access to public housing and access to housing vouchers.
The Far From Home report is one of the crown jewels of Justice for Housing's work. We took dozens of interviews with directly affected individuals and incorporated it into this report. We compiled a resource of 10 different recommendations, and we said, right now the system is unjust, and we need to do whatever we can to fix it so that people who grew up in these communities can return to these communities. The policies were impactful, made a difference, and you see the results for hundreds of people who have access to affordable housing.
With incredible programs like SHARP, HOD, reentry housing, and rapid rehousing, Justice for Housing is able to provide wraparound services to help people find housing, education, mental health services, and more.
The SHARP program is Stabilized Housing and Reintegration Program. The SHARP program provides more than housing by adding financial literacy to the program, financial coaching, health wellness program. There's also a quarterly checkup to see what they might still need assistance on.
Crossroad Counseling Services is the intersection where the community with the greater need meet the community prepared to service them. The obvious goal of every group is to ensure that these individuals can move through the program into a stabilized housing setting without any interruptions.
The organization prides itself on changing the lives of those who are post-incarceration and looking for something better. The success stories are endless.
The Boston Housing Authority has had a long-standing partnership with Justice for Housing, and the reason we started the partnership was because there are incredible barriers for formerly incarcerated individuals to get housing. If we give them some guidance and we give them a hand, people can be reintegrated into society. People can be successful.
Because I started out as a client, I was literally on the front lines and speaking at the State House of my experience. At the time, I was trying to obtain housing, not just for myself, but also for my child who was in the foster care system. Because of this program, I was able to be housed, have a suitable place for my child, and then eventually work for the program.
With trauma informed on this level, it's more of a unconditional positive regard. I've watched years of therapeutic healing happen in weeks, in months, sometimes in one session. All my clients know that I'm formerly incarcerated as well, and that offers a level of restoration for them. And I offer a level of hope where it's like, listen, if I can do it, so can you.
To learn more about the programs they offer, visit their website, justiceforhousing.org, or see this segment again on thebalancingact.com.
The local community does so much good work for those in need. Take a look at this.
Did you know that there are an estimated 80 million people in the world in need of a wheelchair? Sadly, only a small portion of those people actually have access to one, leading to social isolation and economic hardship. One organization is working to change that. Joni and Friends has been proudly serving individuals and families living with disabilities for more than 45 years. But this ministry grew out of an unthinkable tragedy.
I was 17 years old and I went to the Chesapeake Bay for a swim with my sister before both of us headed off to college. Did not check the depth of the water, dove from a raft, hit a sandbar, and I crunched my fourth cervical vertebrae, which immediately left me paralyzed or quadriplegic. Over the months when I was in the hospital trying to absorb that now I'm paralyzed, I fell into a deep depression. We all go through times where we think, I can't do this. I have no strength for this. How am I going to make it? And it took a long time for me to find answers to those questions. But I can say that the Bible and my relationship with Jesus Christ has made all the difference in the world. My family was struggling, to be sure. And so when I went through rehab, I decided that I wanted to do something to help other families like mine. And so I started Joni and Friends in 1979. And we are a global outreach that provides everything a family with a disability might need to just be successful in life. When a family has a child with multiple disabilities, it can be so isolating. People have misconceptions about individuals with intellectual disabilities. People think that this young person can't engage spiritually. The Bible says that God's Spirit witnesses with man's spirit. I served on the National Council on Disability when our council drafted the first Americans with Disabilities Act. We've seen incredible advancements for people with disabilities, but there's a lot of work that needs to be done. And that's where our ministry at Joni and Friends comes in. We've got lots of programs to help families stay connected and be resourced.
Having a daughter with disability has really strengthened my resolve to be a voice for the voiceless. I needed some other people who understood, who had compassion, who got my story, and who could offer me the support that I needed. I became a volunteer, and eventually I became a staff member, and I've been serving on Joni's staff now for over 14 years. This ministry has been a lifeline for me.
Having served nearly 90,000 individuals with disabilities and their families through their retreats and getaways, Joni and Friends offers practical help and gospel hope for families living with disabilities.
Well, in today's day and age, as government programs continue to step aside, there's a greater need for not-for-profits, especially Christian not-for-profits, to step in and provide those services. And I believe that is a core function of what Joni and Friends can do. Some of the programs we do are family retreats, Wheels for the World, Joni's House programs that serve the 4 domains of life: spiritual, physical, social, and economic. Short-term programs here in the U.S. for volunteers, interns, radio programs. Wheels for the World is an amazing program. What we do is we collect wheelchairs here in the United States that are destined for the dump. These wheelchairs get retrofitted at one of our 15 prison restoration centers back to a like-new condition. We package them up, we ship them all over the world to people that could never afford a wheelchair or have never had access to a wheelchair. I went on a Wheels for the World trip to Cuba. During our time there, this gentleman who watched us serve these families and watched us pray and just come together in the morning and throughout the day, each day he stepped 1 or 2 steps closer to us. And by the last day, he had joined our prayer circle and admitted that he wanted to know more about who Jesus was.
If you're not connected to Joni and Friends yet, what are you waiting for? Get involved. You'll never regret that. It will be the slice of heaven that everyone says it is.
You can do all things through Christ. And this is the hope-filled message that we give hundreds of thousands of people with disabilities all around the world. and I love it. I want people to get involved. They can pray, they can volunteer, they can give financially to assist us in reaching the world's disabled with God's love.
For more information on Joni and Friends, visit their website, joniandfriends.org, or you can see this segment again on thebalancingact.com.
If we look good, we feel good. Our next story shows just how easy that can be.
Your appearance often creates the first impression on others. A sophisticated look can convey professionalism and elegance. Are you ready to elevate your style? Let's meet the team at Hive Colony for a unique perspective and experience.
I believe it's important to dress in this particular manner because it exudes confidence, right? It gives you a better sense of being. It says a lot about you and your overall appearance as you enter the room. The emotions that come across while wearing a Hive Colony suit are a multitude. From the boardroom, it can give you a level of confidence. Even on your special day, it gives you that level of romance. The history of Hive Colony started off as a tailored truck concept in the streets of Manhattan. We then opened our first brick and mortar store here in Boston. We're actually sitting in the first showroom as we speak. Customer service is at the forefront of what we do. We go above and beyond to make sure that you are dialed in every step of the way and you feel comfortable and confident about your custom garment clothing with us.
Hive Colony is about thoughtful choices, attention to detail, and expert help in selecting pieces that align with your personality.
The way we focus on what we call FIT, which is an acronym for the Fashion, Innovation, and Technology, is the fashion piece. We ensure that we have some of the best fabrics from across the globe. For the innovation piece, it's our cutting-edge 3D technology. The technology is what kind of ties all three together, allowing us to have more of a seamless process for our clientele. We, in general, are known for having some of the best fabrics across the globe. We carry fabrics like Loro Piana, Zegna, Marzoni, VBC, Drago, Reda, Scabal. All of these are well-known fabric mills with great reputable names. Outside of the wide selection of fabric options, we have suit separates, dress pants, both casual and formal. We also do active shirts and business casual dress shirts. We also provide bomber jackets, overcoats, hunting coats, and dress shoes, which are all handmade in Italy. We can accommodate many budgets. So if you do have a budget in mind, we always suggest that you let us know beforehand. If you have a comfort-specific requirement, we want to understand that. It'll help us better tailor the garment for you. It's important that you allow yourself at least a 4 to 5 week window because we're creating something specific for you. Outside of that, we always suggest a 2 to 3 month window prior to any special occasion or event.
From the initial consultation to the final fitting, no detail is small enough.
In terms of our measurement process, what we're known for is paying attention to the details. We go beyond the tape measure. We use the 3D scanning, the technology, but more importantly than that is really understanding the client's fit preference. The 3D body measuring scan allows us to capture over 300 different measurements. We're able to individually highlight and select any particular measurement that we want to focus on. Here at Hive Colony, we pride ourselves on the level of communication that we provide to our clients. It's one of the ways that we put forth some of the best level of customer service. We believe that throughout the whole process, the client understanding exactly what to expect and setting the expectation so that they have their perfect fitting garment.
From day one, it was a great experience. When I filled out my information on the portal, I included a little piece that I'm profoundly deaf and that I read lips. And I was welcomed with open arms. As soon as Brittany greeted me, she knew to face me the entire time so I could see her lips. And that made me feel so included. Well, I ordered my custom tuxedo for my wedding, and I loved the tuxedo, but I love all their suits and the blazers specifically. I wore one of the forest green blazers, which was so comfortable. I think I like that one the most. I feel powerful. I feel like I'm in my comfort zone and ready to take on the day.
When you elevate your style with sophistication, it becomes a form of self-expression that positively impacts various aspects of your life.
Hive Colony can be found across the country, currently at 10 locations. We are in Boston, we are in New York, we are in New Jersey, Philadelphia, Washington, D.C., Charlotte, Nashville, Miami, Dallas, and California. Hive Colony's future plans are to open our 11th location on Madison Ave, which will be our second location in New York City. Hopefully you can find us at store near you.
To learn more about Hive Colony, visit the website at hiveandcolony.com or see this segment again on thebalancingact.com.
Up next, what to consider when you require legal services.
There are certain things in life that we just keep putting off until it's too late, and it can cost us. Estate planning and other aspects of elder care are two of those obligations to which you really owe it to yourself and your family to take care of ahead of time.
Estate planning and elder law involve the process of thinking through and documenting how you want to be cared for as you get older, what you want to do with the things you own when you pass away. The experience of a good attorney comes from what he or she has gained from assisting other families over the years and learning what's important, learning where the pitfalls of document drafting, for example, are. A lot of times there are a number of issues, very subtle issues sometimes, that a lawyer can help guide families through the numerous considerations and decisions that you need to address. The most important thing is to engage in a discussion with a professional who knows how to ask the right questions that are applicable to your family, understands your family. It's not a cookie cutter session. Documents aren't cookie cutters. It's important that the documents you create reflect accurately your intentions and the needs of your family. I began to develop an estate planning practice actually after my mother passed away. A year or so before she died, she got all of her children together and brought us to her lawyer's office and said, okay, this is what I've done. Here are the trusts that I have. Here's how everything is going to go through very easily. And sure enough, she passed away about a year and a half later, and it did. And I was like, this is amazing. And I'd been a practicing lawyer for 25 years or so, and I didn't know any of this. I was a trial lawyer. And so I became trained on estate planning and started to do it, and I feel really, really good about it.
A properly designed estate plan will give you control of your life and your assets. In most cases, this can all be done without having to go through probate.
Some of the consequences of having to go through probate relate to the time and expense involved. The time is the most important one. Oftentimes it can take months or even years to finish an estate. And in the meantime, that delay could cause damages to some of the property. The executor, the personal representative might want to sell some stock because the market is going down. That person can't do that until he or she is appointed. And if there's a delay in the appointment process, the value of the estate goes down. Nobody has the authority to take care of a deceased's house, and the mortgage doesn't get paid, the utilities don't necessarily get paid. Instead, if you've done your proper estate planning and avoiding probate, within days, if not weeks, of a deceased's passing, all those issues can be dealt with, and you don't have to involve the courts. A revocable trust is an instrument that is written so that your assets can be distributed to whoever you name in the trust upon your death or disability. You name a trustee. Generally, it's the person that drafts the trust that is the trustee for life, so you have control over everything. You're not giving anything away now. But if you become disabled or if you pass away, then whoever you name as the successor trustee will take over and do exactly what's written in the trust in terms of distribution of your assets. And the other beauty of a revocable trust is, as it's called, it's revocable. It means you can revoke it at any time. You can amend it, you can change it. You can decide if there's a change in your family dynamic that what you originally put in the trust doesn't make sense after 10, 20 years. And you can make changes. So it's a very easy instrument. It doesn't require you giving money or giving the authority to manage your affairs to anybody unless and until you get to a point where you're unable to do it for yourself.
Creating customized strategies based on the unique aspect of each case will result in substantial savings to you and your family.
The estate planning process, of course, starts with a meeting with your attorney. And in that meeting, you have to have an open and frank discussion with the attorney about your family dynamics, your assets, your concerns as you grow older, what kinds of later in life living you want to have. And you can begin to plan through that interaction with the attorney to draft documents that do that. Now, when you have these discussions with your attorney, one thing you ought to keep in mind is, of course, who I want to have the responsibility for doing all this stuff, either as trustee or, if it's a young family, guardianship of young children. And that's a very complicated discussion. And when you determine who those people should be, before you do the documents, you should go talk to them. Make sure they're comfortable with that role. Make sure that you're comfortable with what they would do in that role if you're not there to do what you need to do for yourself. So that includes a healthcare proxy, that includes a young family taking care of children. So once you've made all those decisions and you communicated them to the lawyer drafts the appropriate documents. The documents are signed, witnessed, notarized, and generally most law firms will bind them in a package for you to take home with you. It's a preferred idea to have the original stay in a law firm in a safe and have copies distributed. It's really a good idea to give those to the people that are going to be administering your estate. A healthcare proxy is extremely important for anybody to have. A healthcare proxy, like a living will, directs who may make healthcare decisions for you if you're unable to make or communicate your own healthcare decisions. And in the healthcare proxy, you lay out how you want to be cared for if you get ill. A power of attorney is a fairly simple instrument that gives somebody the authority to manage your financial affairs if you're unable to do so. Somebody that you trust will be able to, if you get sick, pay your bills, transfer money, things of that nature. An online legal service gives you templates to prepare documents. It doesn't provide any mechanism for advice and understanding of a family's needs. There are a number of things we can learn online through the internet, through YouTube, but ultimately, being online doesn't have the capacity to ask you questions and elicit information that is important in the analysis of what you want to do. Some of the process is also the benefit of the experience of a lawyer who has seen a number of families go through the aging process and indeed pass away.
Give yourself and your family peace of mind that your assets will be distributed according to your wishes.
In my view, estate planning is really the ultimate manifestation of that old expression, an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. It's something you really should think about and focus on when you have the flexibility to do so. To be able to go through this process ahead of time and not have to worry about it and deal with it while you're grieving the loss of a loved one is really remarkable.
For more information about the Nebenzahl Law Group, visit the website at neblawgroup.com or see this segment again on thebalancingact.com.
Thanks for joining us on The Balancing Act. We'll see you next time.